Hello, Corda, and welcome to Labour of Love with me, Síomha, New York, where we cut through all of the unsolicited advice and all of that information online and find out what do we actually need to know about pregnancy. This is a series for any and all type of pregnant person, whether on your first, second, third, or if you're just starting to think about it. Hopefully there'll be something for everyone to learn. I am currently 30 weeks pregnant myself, and do you know what I've found is that people are telling me I look neat, and I'm like, well, I have 10 weeks to go, so I would assume so, I won't be looking so neat in 10 weeks time. But maybe just a gentle reminder that you don't actually have to tell people if they look big or if they look small. I also got told at the weekend that I look massive, so it does depend on who I'm speaking to, and luckily I have a bit of a thick skin, and I also know that I'm pregnant, so I'm going to look different. I am. I've accepted that. I'm okay with that. I'm actually delighted about it. But maybe just you don't have to tell people. Just tell them they look great. I can always accept that. I can always accept people telling me that I look fantastic. This week's episode is going to be about all of the weird, wacky and wonderful body changes that we see during pregnancy. I'm going to be chatting to midwife Áine Hennessy about it, and I cannot wait to ask her. Excuse me, there's some more of that pregnancy gas. I actually put out a question box on Instagram to ask my followers what they saw, what were the biggest changes they saw during pregnancy, and do you know what? It made me feel great about myself. I only had about half of them. No, I'm only messing. It made me feel a lot less alone. But you know what? The female form is just an absolute overachiever when it comes to doing the absolute most. She is a diva, she's a drama queen, and we love her for it. So I have a list of body changes that I want to ask Áine about myself as well. So one thing that I realise is that I have a streak of blonde going through the very back of my hair from the root down, because my hairdresser was like, maybe it's, remnants of blonde days past, but no, because it goes from the root. So now I did used to be extremely blonde, but years ago, I haven't dyed my hair in maybe 7 years. So I think, I don't know, maybe it's just my body kind of getting rid of those last few wanton days. It's releasing the last bit of blonde, releasing that part of my life. It's nice, but I wish it was like framing my face. If it was, visible from the front, it would save me a fortune from getting a balayage or something. Another thing I've noticed is I have a lot of hair at the moment. And I actually did a segment in R&DM about this, and I was speaking to a trichologist who is a hair expert. And they were telling me that, yes, you will have a lot more hair during pregnancy, but it's for the least glamorous, least sexy reason in the world. The reason is our hair follicles are swollen. As is everything else while we're pregnant. Our hair follicles swell up, so that means not as much hair falls out. So that's why we have this gorgeous, glossy, thick, healthy hair during pregnancy. But I will take it. I'll take looking like a Victoria's Secret model from the ears up, all in the name of pregnancy. And we know that's not the only thing that's swollen. But let's get into it and let's go have a chat with Áine Hennessy. Áine Hennessy, thank you so much for joining me today on Labour of Love. So you yourself are a midwife. We were just chatting there that you've been a midwife for 13 years and you had your first baby 13 months ago. Yeah. How was it applying the knowledge that you have as a midwife to your own birth?
Yeah, well, thanks very much for having me. I suppose so many people will say knowledge is power, and it definitely is, but I think the more you know sometimes can be a little bit of a burden.
Really? That's gas.
Every little thing in pregnancy I was like, oh my God, is that something that I need to get checked? And I know as a midwife you'd say to women, go and get checked, anything. If you're worried about something, go in for the reassurance. But of course my brain was like, no, I'll be fine. They'll probably think I'm crazy because I'm a midwife and I should know this, but it's totally different. And it was definitely hard to switch off the midwife brain in labour. I did it eventually, because I had to, but it was definitely, I could feel like my conscious brain thinking of all of these different things in labour, but the body just did it then, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, isn't that reassuring though for people who aren't midwives and are still maybe thinking those things? It happens to professionals as well. We're all worried about things. But that's also useful to know, because basically with this podcast, what I'm trying to do is give people the basic information that we need without overwhelming them, because it can be overwhelming because there's so much information out there. But I have you on the podcast this week, so I want to talk about all of the weird and wonderful side effects and symptoms that we see during pregnancy. I've seen about half of them at this stage in my journey. What I want to ask you first about is actually I'm going to ask you about our immune systems. You might be able to hear I'm a little bit under the weather myself, so I want to know how are immune systems affected during pregnancy?
I know, and you'll be sick of me at the end of this because it'll come down. I'll say the same thing over and over again. Hormones. We are a little bit more sensitive in pregnancy.
Really? I thought we'd be superhuman during pregnancy.
Not always. Sometimes we are a bit more prone to the little bugs and things like that, particularly this time of year. anyone with kids as well, coming in and out of creche and school, there's so much going around. The thing about it is, some of the medications or over-the-counter remedies that you'd normally take when you're not pregnant, if you have a cold, you can't take them when you're pregnant.
Yeah.
So, you know, things like maybe Vicks or eucalyptus if you've got a blocked nose. We can't take those. We wouldn't be recommending Sudafed if you've got, you know, as a decongestant. A lot of the time it's going to be, you know, steam baths to try and help move everything, saline rinses. Your paracetamol is fine. We know paracetamol is okay.
Yes.
And to really stock it up on vitamins. Rest and hydration is going to be a big thing as well. And listen to the body. You know, if the body is telling you it's run down, you need to rest. You need to listen to that. That's a big thing.
I did a lovely, sexy saline rinse myself this morning.
So glamorous.
So glamorous, but there's nothing better for clearing you out, is there?
Yeah.
It's wonderful, honestly. So I'm glad to hear that that's safe. Okay, let's move on to something that I've experienced, which is hair changes. Okay, so I actually put out a question box on Instagram and I asked people to tell me what was the weirdest things that they experienced, and so many people spoke about hair changes, not just in their head, but like they didn't have to shave their legs during pregnancy, the texture of their hair changed during pregnancy. I have a blonde streak right in the back of my hair at the moment. Yeah,
interesting.
Why do these things happen? Let me guess. Is it hormones?
Oh, it's hormones. So it's a lot of hormones. So with our hair goes through a life cycle. So you've got growth, you've got rest, and then you've got shedding. However, in pregnancy, because of the hormones, our hair goes through growth phase longer. So that's why we end up with the really thick, the really shiny and luscious looking hair, because our hair is growing continuously and it's not shedding as much. Yeah. And interesting you said about the not like no hair in the legs, because some women could have the opposite because of that extra growth.
Yes.
And growth hormone that we have because we're growing our babies, that they have different parts of their body have more hair.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did it. One woman said like she had been completely lasered. She was as smooth as a seal, and then during pregnancy it all just started sprouting again.
That was me, yeah. All that money down the drain.
And then the hair changes, not just during pregnancy, but postpartum.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Again, that was me. So again, when our hormones start to settle after pregnancy, we go back to its normal cycle. But all of that lovely extra hair we had is going to shed, isn't it? So so many women end up with some postpartum hair loss, i.e. me. Yeah, look glorious. Such a gorgeous widow's peak on the top of my head.
A widow's peak, like proper.
Oh, proper, like right here.
Oh,
just all goodness. Gone.
But how long did it take to recover?
I wasn't too bad, so I did get a couple of different products, and thankfully it did start growing back in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But some women, it can last a couple of months. For some women, yeah.
Things we do.
Oh, it's unreal. But then it's amazing how the body changes at the same time, and that we're able for those changes.
Yeah,
you know.
No, totally. Every day there's something new that I notice, and I'm like, this is incredible, amazing. Teeth and gums. I went to the dentist and they were like, you're more prone to bleeding during pregnancy. I've heard of people's teeth moving during pregnancy. What's that about?
So it's the big thing is your gum health. So a lot of women will say that their gums can be more sensitive. They could be quite red, swollen as well. Pregnancy gingivitis, which is bleeding of the gums, is more prominent. So it is recommended, particularly in the second trimester, to go in and check in with your dentist.
Yeah, because you get a free appointment with dentist during pregnancy as well, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say not a lot of women know about that either. And it's really important with your dental health. So particularly those women maybe that have hyperemesis or vomiting in their pregnancy,
of course,
that acid is really going to affect the teeth. So you want to be making sure that if you do vomit, try and rinse it afterwards, being mindful of sugary drinks, sugary foods that are going to affect your teeth as well, and your dental health. Yeah.
And is that because of the increased blood?
So we have a lot of increased blood going to our whole body.
Yeah.
I've
absolutely
noticed. Yeah. The gums. I know it's these little things that you think, surely that's not affected.
But by the end of our pregnancy, don't we have, is it 50% more blood in our bodies, or is it, have I made that up?
No, you're right. Yeah. Our blood volume increases by 50%. So many women afterwards will say that they have puffy feet. Their feet are really swollen. And a lot of that fluid tends to go to our feet. So it does take time for it to to disperse back to its normal level.
Yeah,
But like 50% is it's a big,
it is.
it's a big number.
So significant.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder we feel, a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit fuller, a little bit puffier towards the end,
Yeah.
50% is massive.
Huge.
Let's move on to the feet then, because you mentioned it, right? I got so many people saying that their feet changed shoe size, not just during pregnancy, but remained a different shoe size after. Imagine if you were Carrie Bradshaw, you'd be disgusted.
Just tiny little feet. Yeah, I know. Now it wouldn't have, like, not all women.
Okay.
So a lot of this isn't for, so
Of course.
someone's listening, they're like, oh my God, I'm a size 6 and I'm going to be size 8 for the rest of my life. No. Again, it's that extra fluid in the feet. And I remember one client of mine, and by the end, oh my God, bless her, she was wearing her husband's shoes.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, because they were so puffy, and even afterwards. But like, I think we were close to about 2 weeks postnatal, and she said, I'm finally fitting back into my shoes, just about, nearly, but really puffy, like.
Imagine stomping around in your husband's size 11s, like.
Yeah, stock up in your old flip flops. But again, and it's to do with the the extra weight we're carrying, so the arches tend to fall as well with the flat feet.
I had that. I was like, what's going on? Like, my arches feel fully fallen.
Yeah.
I was getting pains on the outside of the balls of my feet. So that's a pregnancy related thing, fallen arches and flat feet.
Yeah, because the extra weight we're carrying, it can be normal anywhere from, I think it's about 26 pounds upwards of extra weight by the end of the pregnancy. Now that weight's, it's not fat, it's dispersed of our blood volume. Your breasts get bigger, your baby's in there, your uterus is big, your placenta, the fluid that's inside, all of these things contribute to that weight. So if you imagine that, you could potentially be carrying 2 stone extra by the end of your pregnancy, that extra weight, of course, it's going to put pressure on the feet.
Of course, the arches are going to fall under that. Like, it was so funny. It actually happened to me earlier on, early enough during pregnancy. And I just feel like any symptom I Google is like, pregnancy. Every single thing's like, of course, that's usual, which is bananas. Let's talk about the breasts. So whenabouts during pregnancy, like, it's the first trimester now, you really feel it, like there's pain. Then I felt they kind of calmed again in the second trimester, third trimester, they're kind of ramping up a little bit. And do they always get bigger during pregnancy? Because obviously when your milk comes in, that's when they really explode.
Yeah. So in the early days, yes, you would have tender breasts. So that's one symptom that some women would say they knew they were pregnant, because their breasts were feeling sore. As the pregnancy goes on, then your milk is going to start producing, so that's going to affect the size of them. Your areola, which is the pink or the brown around the nipple, that's going to become more prominent.
Tell me about it.
The nipples are going to become more prominent. We have like sometimes you might notice like little bumps around your areola, so that's important for oil production as well around there. And then by the end, your breasts can be pretty big. So it is important to get measured in the pregnancy if you feel that your bra size has changed. In some women might need to be measured a couple of times.
That's what I was going to say, because it's constantly changing.
It's constant. And then afterwards as well, particularly for those who are breastfeeding, their breasts are going to change again.
And the areolas, they get bigger and darker. That's to help baby find them.
Exactly.
The areolas. Yeah. I just don't think
their eyesight, it doesn't fully develop. It fully develops over time.
Yeah.
So the distance for a newborn is really kind of face to breast distance. They can't see full shapes or colours.
Yes.
So when they see a big circle, they're like, oh, there it is. And they can smell it as well.
Bingo.
So, yeah, that's where I need to go.
My husband has been checking my rings every single day since I've become pregnant, because he saw a few things on Instagram about people needing to get their wedding rings cut off. Now, I can still straddle them round, so I'm like, I should be okay. But how common is it that your hands swell up to that point?
Oh yeah, that's a lot of women, especially by the end.
So should I be taking my rings off?
If you can still move them, then fine. If you feel that it's getting a bit tight, you'll know yourself. You're feeling like you feel the extra fluid. You feel kind of puffy. So if you feel that, then you're better off taking it off, because you don't want to be cutting off your lovely wedding
don't.
rings.
No, in fairness, no. But I'm fighting him on it. I'm like, I don't want to take them off.
I know, and I was like that, and I think it took me. It was a couple of months before I could get my rings back on postnatal.
Oh, postnatal as well.
Yeah. And I remember the first, like, I squeezed it on. I was like, I'm putting it back on. And then I was like,
butter.
this is a bad idea.
Oh God. Okay, this is one more thing that I might have to step away from for a little while. That's okay. That's okay. I'll put it back on in a while. The bump itself, obviously we know it grows a lot. What surprised me was from the very start, I was getting what I learned was round ligament pain.
Oh yeah.
So explain to us what exactly that is.
So our uterus is connected to our pelvis. So we have what's called long ligaments and round ligaments. So some at the bottom of the uterus connected to the pelvis and some at the top of our uterus connected to the pelvis. So it's not just floating around in there. By the end of the pregnancy especially, we release a lot of relaxin in our body, and that's to open up the pelvis, to make space for baby. It's to relax the muscles, to get ready for labour. So if we bend or twist or move in a certain way, we're so sensitive for those ligaments to be pulled tight, and you get like a sharp shooting pain. Sometimes it can be around your pelvis or on your side, and it can be really, really sore. So stretching, yoga, pregnancy Pilates, really gentle movements. Swimming as well can be really nice just to help loosen those up. A warm patch. Just be careful about hot water bottles, just in case you don't want any burns.
No, God, no.
But heat can be really nice, but stretches are a big thing.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing is if you've got a really tight or twisted ligament, it can minimize the space inside for baby to move and turn. So babies, they still need to turn in labour. So particularly when they're coming into the pelvis, they're still moving around. They have to turn their head, tuck their chin down. So if that ligament is a bit tight and it's restricting space, especially if anyone has a breech baby, so bum down as opposed to head down, sometimes it's those little ligaments maybe that could be the issue that are restricting space inside.
Wow. Okay, so that can impact that. Yeah, I was just really surprised. It was honestly first trimester and I was getting these pains from like rolling over in bed, you know, and I don't know, I think I expected that to come later on in the pregnancy when the bump was actually bigger. And then what's the issue with you know, sometimes if you roll over or if you don't support yourself properly, your belly kind of cones.
Okay.
No, is this just me?
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, well,
Don't laugh at me, Áine.
Yeah, no, I know. It's funny how people describe it, isn't it?
Okay.
So we have what's called diastasis recti in pregnancy. So it's separation of our abdominal muscles.
Okay.
So there's a big old space in there. There's nothing we can do to prevent that. It is inevitable in every pregnancy. So it's going to move to make space for that growing uterus and that growing baby. So when you turn or move and you see this big massive bulge, that's it's part of in between that is coming out.
Okay.
That you wouldn't, because normally it's closed.
Yeah. Okay, so I have big open space in my abs right now. Lovely.
Yeah, I know. Something you didn't know about.
No. What I found is I have found baby like up in my ribs recently. I can feel them up there. Like they were oblique breech, but they've now moved down, which is great because I can feel them hiccuping down towards my pelvis now. But like when they were, like their head was up in my ribs. I was like, get out of there. Like, quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, the mad feeling.
It's crazy where the positions they can get into.
Yeah.
And then you get different feelings. And particularly the end now, you'll hear of things like lightning crotch.
Lightning crotch.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I actually hadn't heard that. What have I got in store?
Yeah.
What's ahead of me on
So
it?
some women will say that they feel like this lightning or shooting pain through the vagina.
Okay.
And that's because baby's now starting to come through the pelvis.
Right.
They're going to start hitting on top of our cervix to get us into labour.
Okay.
And it's this shooting pain.
Lightning crotch.
Lightning crotch.
Beautiful.
I know, so glamorous.
Okay, let's move down to the legs, right? Restless legs.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell? Who, what evil person made up restless legs? I actually got restless legs before I was pregnant because I was low on iron before. Started taking iron, it absolutely fixed it. But now that I'm pregnant, it's come back with a vengeance, and I have to. I get up and do squats if they just won't calm down. But it's so frustrating.
It is, yeah.
And for people who haven't experienced restless legs, it's hard to explain. It's not
is.
painful. It's just uncomfortable. Like it's literally you have to just keep moving your legs.
My mum always said her legs are itchy titchy.
Perfect. No, that's actually a great description because it's so hard to describe.
Legs. That's what she used to say. So that was one thing I was going to say is sometimes restless legs can be related to low iron.
Okay.
Yeah. So get your iron checked if you have restless legs. Aside from that, again, it's the extra fluid that's in our body that's being put on nerves and things like that. Magnesium can be a really good one.
I heard that.
Yeah. So if it's particularly in the nighttime, if you're in bed and you kind of get those itchy titchy legs, magnesium can be a really nice one to take before going to bed. Yeah.
I'm going to literally go and get magnesium today because it might help me sleep as well. I heard an old wives' tale about putting a cork into bed with you if you have restless legs. Have you heard this? No.
I have never heard of that.
Really? Yes, someone said.
I've never heard of that.
Someone told me if you put like a cork, like from a wine cork into bed with you, that should remove restless legs, or if you've cramps to put it under the mattress.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, not medical advice, an
Yeah.
old wives' tale, but like I
Oh,
suppose.
no, look, I'm all for the old wives' tale.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, before I got pregnant with Cora, we had a miscarriage,
Okay.
and so we were trying, and it was Christmas. It was Christmas 2023. And there's an old wives' tale that if you wrap a blanket and put it under the Christmas tree, that you'd be pregnant or have a baby by next Christmas. So both my mom and my best friend, they both crocheted, both of them a pink blanket, which is weird enough, and wrapped it and went under the Christmas tree. And then, a couple of months later, then found out I was pregnant.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
There's something there for some old wives' tales.
Yeah, and they're comforting.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about your loss,
Oh,
though.
it's okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, though. That's a fabulous story.
You can try the cork and
I
let
might.
us know.
I'll do magnesium and the cork, right? But we don't
Okay.
know which one it'll be then. Leg cramps. What a bitch. Sorry, but what a bitch. Like I'm waking up in the night. The first time it happened, I woke up and I was like, oh my God. And my husband was like, what's going on? I was like, I've got the worst leg cramp. And he was like, calm down and take a deep breath, which normally would make me hit the roof if someone said that to me. But it worked, right? And the next time it did not work. So like, what is the remedy to those vicious, violent calf cramps?
Yeah, your magnesium again is going to be one, but you can even get like magnesium sprays or magnesium creams so that you can apply it directly.
Really?
So even if you do have a
topical
cramp,
thing.
yeah, see if that works. But horrible.
It
Horrible
is,
things.
and then you get a hangover of it for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's
you know,
just sore.
you can feel it. And then, do you know what I found, which I was gobsmacked at? Moles and skin tags.
Yeah, I had to kind of look in with this one. I know like skin tags, they can appear randomly. Again, it goes back to that growth hormone that's in our body.
Okay.
Within pregnancy, I would say if something like that does appear, I would always go get it checked out, no matter what it is. Even if it's something that they're like, yeah, it's all fine, it's very normal, it's all good, you still better off just to go in and getting these checked.
Yeah.
Any kind of lumps, bumps, skin tags.
Totally, yeah. I know, because I asked my GP, I was like, I have like 5 new moles, and they were like, it's hormonal, you know. But it was just I got really worried at the start because I was like, oh my God, they're just springing up all over me, you know. But but like you said, of course, get those kind of things checked out, I think, just for peace of mind as well, because you never know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about sleep. Sleep is it's nature's just laughing at us.
I know.
Like I should be collecting sleep right now, not losing it.
No, you don't bank sleep.
No,
You don't, unfortunately. Particularly at the end of pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pregnancy insomnia can be a thing, unfortunately. And then as well, particularly as you go further along in pregnancy, you're carrying that extra weight of baby. As you said, those hips are widening, that extra kind of pain in the pelvis and things like that. Moving from one side to the other, it can really disrupt your sleep. Getting up to pee 10 times a night, is really frustrating because then that breaks your sleep, doesn't it? As comfortable as you can get. So things like your magnesium, that could help. Pillows, pregnancy pillows, normal pillows, whatever you can, especially in between the legs, and try your best to get into a comfortable position. Sideline is going to be your best, particularly in the latter stages of pregnancy. We don't recommend sleeping on the tummy, obviously, because baby's there.
Yes.
Some women are afraid, particularly in the first trimester, I shouldn't be sleeping on my tummy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fine. We normally say, as a rough guide, if you are a belly sleeper, from the second trimester, do start transitioning onto your side for side sleeping. Ideally, the left side is your best, but either side is fine.
Why is left side the best?
Because it increases the blood flow to the placenta and baby and uterus.
Just on the left?
It does on the right, side, either side, but left is best.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that you can't sleep on your right. Do you know what I mean? What we don't do is sleep on our back, particularly when we're into the third trimester. Baby's quite heavy. We have a very big vein going there, and if baby presses on it, it stops blood flow. So that's what can happen. Okay. Now, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you realize, oh my God, I'm on my back, it's okay. You turn onto your side. It's fine.
Yeah. I know, because I heard someone saying as well, like if baby was on that vein, if something was being cut off, you'd know about it. You'd feel it. You know, you'd be unwell or nauseous or something like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I was a belly sleeper. I found it tough to transition onto the side. I did get a pregnancy pillow, but I didn't. I think a normal pillow would be fine as well.
Absolutely. And some of the pregnancy pillows, I have one, but I got one as you'd use it as a breastfeeding pillow
afterwards. Yeah.
So now I have to say I still use mine.
See, this is what I'm worried about. I'm afraid it's never going to leave my bed now.
No, it doesn't. It's just so comfortable. But normal pillows, of course. Normal pillows in the legs are absolutely fine.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I got one quite early on, and I was like, I don't think I really needed this, you know.
Yeah.
But
If you don't, you're fine.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could, well, like just like because we buy so much in pregnancy, and leading up to the birth and leading up to welcoming baby in. So just if anyone needs de-influencing, you mightn't absolutely need the pregnancy pillow. I'd say keep going with a normal pillow for as long as you can, and then if you feel like it would really help your sleep.
Yeah. It's a massive market out there. It's huge. And like that you're Googling something and then something pop up and say, oh, buy this will help.
The miracle cure for whatever you have.
I know. Yeah. And I had a client before, and it was her third baby, and she's getting ready for her home birth. And I said, do you have everything that you need? And she was like, Áine, boobs and nappies, and I'm good. Okay.
I love that. Well, because that's my fear as well. I'm like, please don't buy me too much stuff. Not that sorry, I keep saying that no one has bought me anything yet.
Oh.
No, not yet, but maybe at Christmas. But I'm like, because my worst nightmare, I hate getting rid of stuff. I hate decluttering. It's a big job, So I'm like, the less I have now, the less I'll have to get rid of. And I'd rather like go into it without enough stuff and then have to get stuff along the way,
Yeah.
Boobs and nappies.
Boobs and nappies. Yeah, I know. Now you can tell it was her third baby. She's like, boobs and nappies.
Okay. I aspire to be like that kind of mommy now.
Yeah. But there's so much stuff out there that you can get sucked into.
Yeah. Okay. And then my vagina. Why does it look like that, Áine?
Oh. Does it not look nice?
No, sorry. It's not that it's not nice. It's just different.
Yeah.
There's a swelling going on there.
Oh
Yeah.
Hormones. And blood flow. That's the answer to everything. Yeah, it does change, doesn't it?
I know, because I went on a girls' holiday there a while ago, and there's a few of us actually that are pregnant in the group at the moment, and they were like, girls, I heard like your vagina swells up, and I was like, no, it hasn't happened to me. I don't think it will.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But that's a little door, isn't it, for baby coming in?
You want it to be cushiony, soft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's you've extra mucus, especially then as well, extra discharge. And that's really important, especially in the latter stages, because we need all that for baby coming out, don't we? To make it just nice and moist and my friend hates that word.
A lot of people hate that word. I might beep it out. No, listen.
So sorry. But it's funny because like sometimes if I suppose as a midwife you learn certain things as you go on, you know what I mean, from experience. And I remember being in the hospital, like, and if someone was giving birth and they'd be up in the bed on their hand, on their back, and the midwife would be wiping it all away. And then the more I'm thinking of it and the more I kind of learned, why are we wiping it?
Yeah. We
need that lubrication.
Yeah.
That's a better word, lubrication.
Yeah.
For babies to come out. That's why that's there.
Of course.
It's a sign that our bodies, our hormones are changing now to get ready for birth. And, you have your mucus plug that comes away. It's a sign that things are moving within towards labour. And it's really important, these little changes.
Yeah.
So it's important to recognise what's normal and what's abnormal. If the vagina is sore or painful, if it's itchy, if there's any bad smell, if it's a greeny or yellowy discharge, we need to get those checked.
Okay.
Whereas the puffiness unfortunately can be normal. The discharge, once it's clear or whitish, that's quite normal as well.
Yeah. I was out with my friends for our Christmas night out, and like I said, there's a few that are pregnant, and like I'm not going to name names, but there were some spare knickers being brought by people.
Oh.
I was like, do you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
So you said there that you were surprised by, some people would like wipe the vagina or something pre-delivery. Is there anything else like that? Like, you've been a midwife for 13 years now, like some practices that you have changed or seen change in your time as a midwife?
Yeah. When I started training in labour, we were just giving the women ice chips or ice cubes to eat. They weren't allowed to eat or drink. The evidence has come out say that actually, no, we should be eating and drinking. And of course it makes sense, because if you're in labour for 12, 24 hours and you're not eating or drinking, so you're not going to have any energy.
No, and it's so laborious.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's really hard work. Giving birth, like, our bodies are designed in a way that we should be giving birth upright. Our pelvis is designed to be giving birth upright, squatting, kneeling, standing. Not on our backs, because that reduces the space within our pelvis. It reduces the space by up to a third for baby to come out. Like, a third extra space is massive,
huge.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a 8 or 9 pounder, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Instinctually, we want to give birth upright. For those women with epidurals, they are a bit more restricted, but even giving birth on your side on the bed will help with that kind of thing. But it was always on the back. Now, a lot of places still would do that practice of on the back, and some women are fine with on their back.
Yeah.
That's grand.
Yeah.
Whatever you're most comfortable in. Now this is probably before my time. Enemas. So women used to get enemas to help clear out everything.
But what would be the purpose of that? Just so that they wouldn't go then during labour?
Yeah. Just to clear it out.
Yeah, because honestly, growing up when I was younger, like the way we spoke about, like it was as if the worst thing in the world that could ever happen to you was that you'd poop at the same time as you were giving birth. Now I feel like there are so many bigger issues in life than that. Like that's very low on my list of things that I care about.
Yeah.
But that is a concern for some people, I guess.
Not anymore.
No. Okay,
now,
good.
some women would come into their mind of like, oh my gosh, I heard that I'm going to poo in labour. And as a midwife, I'm like, yeah, but we love that. Honestly, if you ask any midwife,
love that.
oh my God, as a midwife, if you see a woman and there's a little bit of poop, oh, here's baby.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's indicative that it's close.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because as the head's coming down, it presses on the back passage.
Okay.
So that's where it comes out. But like, as midwives, we're not going to go, oh, you had a little poop. We don't say that to you.
Yeah.
We're very discreet at, like,
I've heard
cleaning
that.
it away.
Yeah. I've heard it gets whipped away before you even know it. Like,
yeah, and like the women don't know.
yeah.
You won't know at all. We're quite good at hiding these things.
Yeah.
But it's a very good sign from our side to see that something like that is, because then that means baby's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love to hear that. Yeah. I just, for whatever reason, it was like one of those big fears for me and my friends when we were growing up, as if like that's the worst thing that could ever happen. But that's very reassuring to hear that you like to see it. Actually, that's refreshing. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful job, I think. Like, I love midwives. I love all of you. I think you're angels. With the home births, is there anything mental that's ever happened with a home birth?
God. Yeah, loads. The very first home birth I went to was in a garden.
Oh.
Yeah.
Intentionally?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah. It was a gorgeous summer day. Like, it was mid to late 20s. It was fabulous.
Oh, wow.
They lived out in the country, so there was no like neighbours overlooking. And I went in. The midwife text said we're in the back garden, so I went around the back, and like I normally wear glasses. So I didn't have my glasses on, and there was a student there, and I saw the students just run down the garden carrying a tank of oxygen, and I just strolling in, and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And then I saw them down the garden, and I was like, what? And I was squinting because I couldn't see because I had no glasses on. What's going on there? And I realised, oh my God, she's actually having the baby. And now it was absolutely stunning day. It was under a tree.
Oh
it was
my God,
really,
that
really
sounds
gorgeous.
magical.
Like, it was fab. It was really, really nice. I've gone to a birth in a converted church.
Was that intentional?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they lived there.
Okay, they lived
gorgeous,
there. Okay.
gorgeous place. Yeah, we've had a few like incidences, like, with home births, there's candles lighting and it's really nice and calm. And I remember when we were doing notes or whatever, and I was like, what's that smell? I was like, oh my God. One of the papers caught on fire on the candle. I was like, oh my God. We had pools. A lot of women have their birth pools. So I was at one and we were emptying it afterwards. So she had given birth in the pool and they had this like industrial size pump to empty the water afterwards. I was like, oh, that's great. And then, the end of the hose out the window. And we were pottering along. She was on the couch. It was all really nice. And next of all, like the hose popped off.
Oh God.
It was literally like a fountain. It went up.
God.
It hit the ceiling.
No.
I went over and just put my hand on it and I was covered. And like, she gave birth in there, so there was a bit of everything in there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Oh God.
And I remember just standing there going, oh my God, just turn it off. And just drenched. And of course, I didn't have a spare anything, so I just had to finish out the care and go home, drive home with just covered in everything.
Oh God, occupational hazard,
Yeah, I know. But it's lovely though. It's really nice. It's great, and it's such an honour to be part of that part of women's lives and that experience.
Yeah.
It's really something special.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving birth. I have to say, like, I'm excited for it. I feel like I've done a lot of prep for it, and what is the point that makes our body be like, okay, you're ready to give birth? Is it the lungs of the baby are developed? Is that what it is?
So there's a couple of different theories. Obviously,
We
don't know for certain.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's unethical to do these kind of studies on particularly pregnant women.
Okay,
so we're never going to know 100%. But some say that yes, they're once the baby's lungs are completely matured, that triggers off labour. It's hormones, progesterone.
I don't know. It's like take a shot every time Áine says hormones.
We won't get to the end of the podcast if that's the case. We release progesterone in the latter stages, which helps to soften and ripen our cervix. Top tip: there's also prostaglandin in sperm. So how baby got in there is how baby going to get out.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. Oxytocin is a really big hormone as well. So nipple stimulation is a big one to help trigger off your labour as well. But again, we don't really know at the end of the day. And from the home birth side of things and seeing the women the whole way through, it's funny kind of seeing their change, particularly at the end. And so many women can be like, I'm so fed up now, I'm ready. But sometimes baby's not ready.
Yeah.
And it's a mental game. The body does it physically. We can see the physical changes, we can feel baby move, we have all these different symptoms. But a big thing to keep in our mind is our mind, like our psychological side, that if there is an anxiety or a worry or a fear there, sometimes that can actually impact and not progress your labour or not even start your labour if there's something there. Like I've heard women and they're waiting for a delivery of something like a car seat, they're waiting for the baby can't come, I've no car seat, and then once that happens, then
Really?
Things happen.
Wow. No, I know that can definitely play a big part in it, and that can inhibit your if you're not relaxed, if you're not feeling prepared for it. Yeah. And also the fact that I learned this stat recently, only 3 to 5% of babies arrive on the due date that's given to them, so some babies just need a little bit longer to cook,
Yeah. It's a tiny number.
Yeah.
It
is.
It's more likely the day you're not going to give birth.
Yeah.
Rather than your due date, First time mums are more likely to go somewhere between 7 to 10 days over.
Okay, brilliant.
So anyone that's like, oh, I'm definitely going to go early. Not always. Now, some women
Yeah,
do.
it's possible. It's possible.
But it's more common to go over. And that's fine.
Yeah.
It's not every woman has a 28-day cycle. Not every woman ovulates on day 14. Not everyone conceives at that exact day, at that exact time.
Yeah.
So putting a lot of pressure on a 24-hour period for inductions and, get things moving when the body or the baby sometimes aren't ready.
Yeah. Okay. Great to know. Áine, I feel like I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for that beautiful chat.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely.
That was such a gorgeous conversation. She is an absolute joy. Like I said, midwives are amazing, and I'm delighted. I'm chatting to 2 midwives during this series. In this episode and in the final episode of the series, I'll be chatting to a different midwife as well. I feel like they know the most. They really do. They've seen so much. They've seen it all. And while a lot of the stuff we spoke about today are fine and frivolous body changes, please do consult your doctor if there's anything you're worried about or if there's anything you aren't sure about. They're the best people to ask, or your midwife. Next week, we're going to be chatting to Niamh Buffini, who is a fitness expert. I'm taking a few weeks off for Christmas, but we'll coming back on the 7th of January, and we're going to do an episode about exercise during pregnancy, and we're going to do a little workout, so you'll want your leggings for that one. Thank you so much for listening, and if you're also on a pregnancy journey, remember we are 1 week closer to meeting our baba and going through that glorious, glorious journey of labour. Slán.